soybean farms, corn farms. A lot of them are undocumented migrants, which we knew. And I don't know. I guess it was just kind of this deal that, and not just strictly conservatives, but the Democrats never had any sense of urgency to go after these farm owners, these business owners, to hold them accountable for illegally hiring people who are undocumented. And you can say, oh, well, they're hiding it, and how much. Clearly, they knew, or I don't know if they didn't care when they voted for this, because, of course, in rural areas, they vote overwhelmingly Republican. They came out for Trump. They continue to support him. Some of them are like, well, I still believe in what he's doing. I wonder how long that will last. And there are municipal economies across the country that are also struggling. I know that places like, I believe it was Dallas, Texas, they're cutting back on some of their public services. And we're going to see a lot more of that going forward. So I want to thank our sponsors for giving us the opportunity to talk about these topics. Thank you to our friends at Minocqua Brewing Company. Yesterday, we had our inaugural Up North podcast this year, where we'll be simulcasting the show on the radio as well as Substack. So please subscribe to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. And I'll be creating a Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez Substack as well, because right now I have Chicago Girl, which is kind of paused for my essays and the book that I'm working on for various reasons. I've kind of talked about it a little bit on the air, but this year has been kind of an interesting shift for my family, I guess is the best way to put it. And I'll talk more about that when I kind of have the mental space to do so. But at any rate, subscribe to Minocqua Brewing Company's Substack and their newsletter, because that's where you'll find my column every Monday, as well as the work done by Senator Chris Larson, Ben Cominos, Kirk Bankston, and other guest writers. And we really appreciate your support with that work. I do want to thank, of course, our friends at Pride Coffee Roasters. That's pridecoffeeroasters.com. For a limited time, you can get 10% off your entire order, and we encourage you to get a bean subscription, because that way you get access to some of their coffees that folks don't get at the farmers market, and you can find out about their schedule for the farmers market, including Jefferson Park Sunday Market this Sunday. That's Saturday, September 28th. We will be there from 9:30 to 1:30 over there at Lawrence and Long. But their schedule for the entire Chicagoland area is available on their website, pridecoffeeroasters.com. In addition to their incredible coffees, you can also find some of their cool swag. And I've got my favorite tote bag. Sounds gay? I'm in. I keep talking about it. I'll have to bring it in to show it to you guys on our Facebook live stream, which you can find right now. Hi, everybody. Also want to thank our friends at Source Solar. I have exciting news. We're going to talk to a regular guest on this show who has met with Peter Sorellis as getting their house evaluated for solar panels, so they can talk you through the entire process. We're going to go through that next week with Peter Sorellis and Warren Price. You can go to source.solar and find out about the possibility of getting solar panels on your house or business. There are incentives that are going to expire at the end of this year for residents and for businesses next year. So please take advantage while you can, and save some money and do what's right for the environment. That's source.solar. You can join thousands of happy customers throughout the Chicagoland area. And, of course, our friends at Kids Above All, working very hard to make sure that kids live happy, healthy, safe lives. Go to kidsaboveall.org. And in collaboration with One AIM Illinois, that's oneaimil.org. I'm on the board of this incredible organization that is working very hard to end gun violence. We work with legislators in Springfield. We work with you about policy. So go to oneaimil.org and support the work that they do there. Let's get to our phone calls. The phone lines are open, 773-763-9278. That's the number to call or text, 773-763-9278. I'm a little bit sad today because we got to spend some time with our son Griffin while we were traveling, and now he's moved back to his apartment. He's gone back to school for his senior year in college, and that's it. He's gone again. But at any rate, I'm happy with how beautiful this weather is. That certainly takes the edge off of all the crazy news out there. Hey, Jim, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hi, Patty. What puzzles me, it's puzzled me all my life. What is the Homo sapien? What is the impulse in the Homo sapien that craves authority? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I've seen archaeological digs going back centuries and thousands of years. But why do they cotton to authority? That is just so strange to me that they have that impulse to.
I don't know, to control other people.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look at this situation. We've got the Republican Party who wants to take complete control of the United States of America, of all places. Now, I've had my civics in school and American history. I never saw a party try to take complete control over the United States of America. I mean, look at Wisconsin. The poor women there have got to run for their lives if they need medical care for abortion. They got to run to Illinois.
Yep.
I mean, they're taking complete control. Complete control. I mean, it's how do they? I don't know how do you swear that? I can't for the life of me. And to have a party in the United States of America taking control. It's just insane.
Well, Dwayne. Well, in addition to like the power element, and money obviously also is necessary for power in the society. I mean, like to have complete power. And Dwayne and I have talked about this before. And the question, and on top of what is the need for controlling somebody, is when is enough enough? Until we're all gone, till we're out of your way. I mean, that's really my question, I guess, to those who are excited and just chomping at the bit for the kinds of things that ICE agents are doing to human beings. What's happening with, as you mentioned, abortion, controlling women's bodies. And I've had this on my Facebook page. They call it murder. And yet, even with control of all branches of the government, they have yet to start charging women with murder. And like, imagine that. I mean, are they? Do you think that would turn the tide at all as far as sentiment and if you charge a woman with murder or her doctor, and then for the full force of the law, right, life in prison or execution, like where would people be then? Because if they really believe that, then I'm surprised they're not going all the way. To your point, how much is enough?
Yeah, well, I mean, but look at Ireland's situation. Once that woman died with sepsis and pregnancy, they went to a referendum. Of course, they're relaxed enough to go to a referendum, but it was about 60-40, and it's a very Catholic country, and there's probably some people that feel that the baby should be born. But the point is, at referendum sake, it's the same in the United States. It's got to be somewhere along those lines. That's not. But my point was that was always privacy anyway. That is as private as you could possibly imagine. And anybody who wants to dive into that privacy issue is insane. That's the way it was. That was the fundamental of that decision 50 years ago. Anyway, but I didn't want to go off on that tangent. Just this idea of for instance, a woman making tamales for 20 years on a corner. They arrested her today, brought her there. Where are these people at? They don't have this authority to just disappear people. This is the United States of America. My God, they've taken the authority to do whatever they want. They're blowing up boats in Venezuela without any compunctions. Well, I mean, this is insanity.
There are enough people who just don't care. We posted about this yesterday that there are 1,200 people who've somehow disappeared that are no longer in a database. Their family members can't find them. That were all at Alligator Auschwitz. And there are people, hundreds of people on my Facebook page. It runs the gamut from check the alligators' bellies to they shouldn't have been here or serves them right or who cares. There are. I mean, that's just on my little Facebook page. That's hundreds of people who are thirsting for the pain of others.
But Patty, I don't know how you can, but I know you have to do it for your your show and everything else. But I would go completely insane. The few people I talk to that occasionally that are hooked on the internet, they've got conspiracies, Patty, they start with a conspiracy. I don't care, name anything, alphabet from A to Z. They'll give you a conspiracy on every letter in the alphabet.
I know.
And I'm like, my God, what are you insane? My point is, you've got to be able to discern reality. You've got to be able to discern that because that's
What can you do with people who are so convinced that that is the reality, that their hatred, their need to control others is the way to go, is their reality? They embrace that so deeply that they're unshakable from it. And I don't know how you come back.
Yeah, but it's only come about in the last 15 years or so since with the Trump has proved that point. But it's only been about 15 years. Do people really want to live under some bizarre authority, meted out by some unknown philosophy? Yeah.
It's only been 15 years this time around. It keeps coming back up, and I mean, part of it is holding people accountable. It's not. It's anyway. I got to run to the break, Jim. Thanks for calling in. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150 in Seattle, the alternative talk of Seattle.
Choose Views with Richard Chew.
Can we fix our democracy? Absolutely. We have to. We have no choice. Has it been a democracy that's had major flaws and holes in it like Swiss cheese? Absolutely. And do our systems fail us? Yes, they do. It starts with this, guys. Trust me when I say this. It starts with acknowledging that we have these issues and we have these problems.
Richard Chew, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
Save big money on everything you need for your next project at Menards. Add energy efficiency to your home with Johns Manville foil-faced foam board insulation. These reflective panels add a continuous layer of insulation to your exterior walls to save on your energy bill. Save big on Johns Manville foam board insulation. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
We need to speak out about this.
At 773-763-9278.
Hello.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
I'm so happy that you're here. We do have the phone lines open, the Credo Mobile phone line and the Credo Mobile text line, 773-763-9278. Credo Mobile, better for people and the planet. Go to credomobile.com, and for a limited time, they have a 25% discount off your contract. That's WCPT 25, promo code WCPT 25 for 25% off your contract with Credo Mobile. Let's get to our phone calls. Debbie's calling from Old Town. Hey, Debbie, thank you so much for calling. What's on your mind, my friend?
Well, you don't know me. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. You know what's funny? I was thinking about you because were you door knocking in Kenosha or Racine when we were doing Fibs for Wisconsin? Kenosha. Okay, so here's something that happened yesterday. And I don't want to tell you the company because I don't want the company to realize that maybe one of their employees was talking about politics. But when I ran for office in 2020, we had magnets made, like a big, huge, like for a car. I was in the 4th of July parade. And, it says Patti Vasquez for state rep. And so the repair guy that was working on some equipment in our house was like, "Oh, did you run for office?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, and I said, "Now I host a radio show." And he said, and I got so uncomfortable because we were like feet away, like just like we were like handshake away from each other, right? And he goes, "Democrat or Republican?" And you know what? I didn't even flinch. I was like, "This is going to be what it's going to be." And I said, "Democrat." And he goes, "Good." He goes, "I know I look like one of the bad guys because he's a big white dude." He goes, but I'm a Democrat and I live in Kenosha." And so we started talking about Kenosha and the politics there and stuff. And I was thinking about the work that we did. And I told him about Fibs for Wisconsin. And so it's nice when you have those exchanges where you don't know which way it's going to go. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, we found my nephew, my godson nephew, lives in Kenosha, and he's a diehard Democrat, and
yeah.
he said, it's pretty blue around there. It's not what you think it might be.
Exactly.
Pretty good.
Exactly. I was very happy. So you wanted to talk about something specific, and I know this has come up, and I just learned about this when we were having bigger conversations about abortion. But tell us what you wanted to talk about.
Okay. I wondered, because there's all these cases being filed with the Supreme Court. Oh, I don't believe in gays, so I don't want to do their wedding cake, and Supreme at Hobby Lobby and all this stuff, and all these cases are decided on religious rights. Well, I'm Jewish, so
right.
I am legitimately in my religion. You are not a person until you come to life outside the mother's body.
Right.
And abortion, and in Israel, they get free abortions. It's legal.
Right.
So would I, as a Jewish person, have a right to claim a religious right?
That's an excellent question. I don't know that anyone has tried this in any of the states where abortion has become illegal past 6 weeks, and in some cases, just in general. Interesting. So I'll have to look into that and see if pregnant Jewish women can claim the religious freedom, because that's kind of the whole thing, isn't it? It's against my religion, or this is part of my religion.
Absolutely. It's part of, aside from the fact that abortion is not mentioned in the Bible, not in the verse that I go by, I'm
right.
John Fugelsang is going to be at Zanies on October 8th.
Right.
I'm going there to see, and I'm really interested. I'd like to pose that question to him and hear what he has to say, because I think it's something really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know how it hasn't come up yet in the United States where somebody has religious views. There is a piece from Brandeis University, "Do abortion bans violate Jews' religious rights?" But that's from like 2 years ago. I don't see any cases. Kentucky judge throws out Jewish mother's lawsuit challenging the state's abortion ban. So that was thrown out in June of 2024. There is no religious view on abortion. A scholar, and I don't know why they're separating it out. Mm-hmm.
I don't either. If I can say, oh, my religion doesn't agree with my baking a cake,
right?
It's fine. My body is my body.
And as I mentioned before, if they're going to go with the entire avenue of it is murder, then I don't know why they're not prosecuting. And the thing is, because there's no statute of limitations on murder, if that's what we're going to categorize abortion as, then they can go after anybody, presumably, according to their definition of it, any woman who has ever had an abortion, because there's no statute of limitations on murder.
And why do men get off scot-free? It's like they never had anything to do with it.
Well, that's that. And that was, do you remember that was something that people tried saying that they were going to do? That was kind of like their kind of way in for people who were pushing back on abortion bans. They were like, no, we're going to go after the men too. And that's gone away. We haven't heard anything about accountability when it comes to men.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And then there's all the, all the things that men can do to not spread their seed. Why can't, why do we have to be punished for abortion?
I know. It's well, they're certainly trying to go after the doctors, anyone that drives you to an appointment, anyone who gives you money. If you go online,
Yeah.
there were two women, I believe it was in Nebraska, a woman and her mom were being. I have to look that up too. That's the thing is that a lot of these states are the journalists aren't able to keep track of all it. Partly because they've also disbanded in places like Georgia and Texas the maternal and infant mortality rates, so that you can't even track if a woman has died, because of sepsis or fetuses that didn't survive, and whether or not that's a result of not being able to have access to care. It's wild.
I think it's a very reliable argument, and I'd like to see it challenged.
Well, like I said, in Kentucky, it was thrown out. And so I don't know if then...
Why? On what grounds?
A Kentucky judge dismissed a lawsuit brought by 3 Jewish mothers who argued the state's near-total abortion ban violated their religious freedom. The plaintiffs filed suit in 2022. The suit largely centered around in vitro fertilization and whether it would be illegal for women in Kentucky to discard embryos created by IVF. And the attorney general argued that it was clear that IVF treatment, so they didn't go with abortion, they went with IVF treatments and the destruction of embryos, right? Because that's also a big legal battle. The judge in the case said that the 3 women's alleged injuries are hypothetical. So there hasn't been a Jewish woman who is pregnant who has taken this to court on religious reasons. Not that I can find, but I'll keep looking.
Yeah, I really, I think it's a point, that's definitely worth challenging.
I agree. I can't argue with you, my friend.
Okay, my friend.
Thank you.
Au revoir. A bientôt.
Hasta. Talk to you later. Thank you.
A bientôt means I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
A bientôt. Talk to you later. Thank you. Let's take a break here. We'll continue our conversation when we come back on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Clear skies tonight with a low temperature of 58 degrees and light southwest winds. Friday, sunshine with a high of 81 and light southwest winds. Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature of 83. Sunday, sunshine with a high of 76 degrees. On Monday, we'll see sunshine with high temperatures in the mid-70s. Tuesday, sunshine with a high temperature around 75 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 73.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
You know that you can listen to Chicago's Progressive Talk on WCPT AM 820. Stream us live at WCPT820.com and on the TuneIn Radio app. Or you can ask Alexa, Siri, or Google to play WCPT from TuneIn. But now you have another option. We're simulcasting our programming overnight, 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. on WSBC AM 1240 for a clearer reception in and around the city. Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. And now overnights on WSBC 1240 AM, where facts matter.
Witness a slice of TV history with the First Lady of Television, now on stage at Northlight Theater. It's 1950, and Gertrude Berg is the pioneer and creator and star of The Goldbergs, America's first family sitcom. When a co-star becomes a target of McCarthyism, Gertrude is faced with taking a stand or damaging her career in this ever-relevant new play by James Sherman, based on a true story. The First Lady of Television at Northlight is now extended through October 12th. Get your tickets today at northlight.org.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. We've got you covered with outdoor power equipment from Cobalt and everything you need to weatherproof your deck with Trex decking. Plus, with lawn care from Scott's and, of course, Pit Boss grills and accessories, you can get a home field advantage all season long. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's Progressive Talk from TuneIn.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
He's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
I do want to remind folks that if you're on hold, and I promise I'll get to you. We lost Danny there. We were going to have a caller wanted to talk about political violence, which I think is an important conversation. Danny, if you want to call back, our phone lines are open. It's, well, for everybody else, 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. That's the Credo mobile phone and text line available to you. And WCPT listeners now get 25% off for 2 years at Credo Mobile with the code WCPT25. Credo Mobile, a progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. Ooh, this is my first time I've had a listener that request a formal greeting. Hello, Mr. Coppola. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Ms. Patty.
Why the
I thought Matt wanted the last name. That's why I gave it.
Hello, hello, señor. How are you doing? ¿Cómo estás?
Oh, no hablo. No hablo. Hey, Patty.
Yes.
The Rapture Part 2 has come and gone.
I know. I keep missing it.
Maybe next time.
I know. Maybe we weren't the chosen ones. We weren't. I guess if you're still here, you weren't worthy, right? Isn't that the rapture? If Jesus wants to invite you back, is that the rapture? I don't know what the rapture is.
I guess something like that. They claim that you'd be talking to somebody and they could be gone the next minute you look at them. And
anybody know anybody that might have been taken by the rapture? Did we miss anybody?
Do I? No.
Okay.
I mentioned to Matt the scene where they talk about where NATO's divided how to respond to that Russian airspace violations they've been doing down there, like in Denmark and then the lower countries. And that. And if you looked at the text I sent you, a cartoon
about veterans.
No, the other one before it. So.
There's a couple. Oh my gosh, there's three. Let's see what this one is. We strive to achieve two goals: one, securing peace in Europe and North America, the NATO countries; $20 billion in Ukraine military aid in a big money bag; and two, getting cheap oil. Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
The picture tells 1,000 words, as they say.
Well, and of course, this big push at the UN for Trump saying that the green energy and renewable energy is a hoax or whatever he was saying, that it's a dead end. You're not going to get anywhere with it. But clearly, so many parts of the world are benefiting, including the United States, from renewable energy.
Nah, he's just, like I say, he's just kind of flailing, doing anything he can to make sure the Epstein files don't get released.
I know. Some of these stories are crazy.
But anyway, that's about all I had was that, so this way somebody else wants to get through, let them. And
I hear you, Mr. Coppola.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Appreciate it.
Be well.
Have a good evening,
Good
Dave.
night.
Take care. And we will get to Paul from Seattle. Oh, Paul from Seattle. Hey, Paul, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hey, Patty, I can answer the question about the abortion question.
Okay.
The ban on abortion, as the Supreme Court overruled Roe v. Wade in the Dobbs case, is not based on religion. It's based on returning powers to the state.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay, so it wasn't based on a religion, although that's because the right wing, the religious right wants it.
Yes, but the question is then, are there Jewish women who are saying that banning them from having access to abortion goes against their religion? And I haven't found any cases. That's the question. I understand that it wasn't. The justices might be coming from their own personal places of religion, but as you're saying, the intention was just to send it back to the states. And of course, it's not a universal sort of philosophy they have as far as states' rights. But at any rate, the question was, can women challenge their abortion laws in their states based on their religions?
Well, I think you kind of pointed it out, is that so far there's no Jewish woman who's had standing, that being that she has an injury, a potential injury of being pregnant. And then the other thing would be, it could be argued that having an abortion is not a fundamental tenet of Judaism. I mean, it might be, abortion might not be restricted, so the state isn't really in Judaism, but the state, being against the law, there's a lot of laws that might not be against the law in Judaism, but they're against the law in the United States, and so they would say the same thing about that, is that having your right to an abortion or is not a fundamental part of Judaism. But this is the interesting thing, is that when it comes to baking cakes for gay people or making websites for their now they say, that is a fundamental practice of Christianity, is discriminating against gay people,
right?
Which is absolute poppycock, because and I hope people get John Fugelsang's book, Separation of Church and Hate. He explains this very well, is that the laws of Leviticus, which say, for instance, a man shall not lie with another man with a woman, do not apply to Christians. The New Covenant gets rid of the it's a new covenant. It's a new deal for Christians. And by the way, the Old Covenant never did apply to Gentiles.
Right.
So that would be, but they just enforce what they want to do because they have their ideology, and of course they're all very glib with the law. So that's kind of how that goes. They can find a reason for anything. I mean, and they're intelligent people, but they want to enforce they want to shove their morality down our throat.
I know.
That's what basically.
And the Hebrew Bible is, does not give the fetus the status of a human life. It doesn't.
Exactly. That's true. And, that's absolutely right. I mean, all you have to do is look at Genesis 2, chapter 2, verse 7, and God breathed the breath of life into the man, and he lived. So in other words, until you breathe the breath of life, you're not really a person yet. Until you're born. And no fetus has ever, the one thing that babies do that no fetus has ever done is breathe a breath of air.
Right. So. And in Exodus 21 and 22 through 25, that if a man accidentally hits a woman and she dies, the offender must be put to death. The penalty shall be life for life. It also says that if the man accidentally hits the woman and she miscarries, he must pay a fine to the husband. So that's the distinction.
Right, to the husband, not to the woman.
Nope.
Yeah, in other words,
it's the husband's property.
Right. To the husband, not to the woman. Yeah. But anyway, so what I wanted to talk about is how absurd is, what J.D. Vance said about the shooting in Texas, and now the attorney, the U.S. attorney in Texas, what we're supposed to believe that this shooter was a far lefty. I mean, put this up. A far lefty sniper who gained position on ICE in such a way that he was able to shoot the people who were being detained, but decided not to shoot any of the ICE agents who were right there, too.
So this kid was on 4chan. We've talked about this before. These sort of these, very dark chat rooms, gamers. Someone was telling me that all these sort of avenues, like whether it's Twitch or YouTube, where they go, and it is a lot of dehumanizing the way they talk about race and women. But 4chan, and someone mentioned this a few weeks ago about how they are radicalizing young men and glorifying these sort of shootings. But we lost Paul. Let's get to Bob from Indiana. Bob, what's on your mind, my friend?
Well.
Hi.
Yes.
Oh, no. What's happening? Oh, I think it's because I didn't lock them. I think because I didn't lock them. I think we lost both our callers. That's my fault. That's my fault. I should lock our callers when they're on the line. I did. There's another button that I should have pressed. 773-763-9278 before we take the break. If you want to join us, is that Bobby back on 219? Is 219 out? I don't know. Is that Indiana? I don't know. I guess I have to ask him, Matt. We are taking your phone calls at 773-763-9278. If you follow Aaron Parnas, he's a young man who does a lot of breaking news. And Pete Hegseth has announced that there's going to be a meeting of all the top military leaders, and he wants them all to meet in one place at Quantico next week, like publicly announcing where some of the most, where our military strategists are all going to be in the same place at the same time. And some of the military leaders are jokingly calling it military Squid Games, and I'm not comfortable with that. Hey, Bobby, sorry we lost you there. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, Trump keeps putting his thumb in the nickel slot, so,
Jeez, yeah.
It's long distance. Anyway, as I was saying there, Miss Patsy, who by no stretch of the words is a patsy in any way.
Appreciate that. I'd rather be a Patsy Cline than a Patsy.
Well, hey, suit yourself, right? But I was telling Matt, after my little chat with Lady B the other night, I've kind of rethought things. And I may not be exiting my support of the Democratic Party just yet.
Okay.
After what I heard on Joan's show a couple days ago before she took a little time off, well, I literally picked up the radio and threw it on the floor.
Oh, boy.
Which is not something I am prone to do as a rule. Fortunately, I have a wooden floor with a heavy carpeting, so the thing seems to work even better. But what got my goat was she had this chap who is, I think, a lawyer and a Democratic strategist, but I think he may be a double agent because of what he said. And I'll have to paraphrase it because I didn't get it exactly, but they were talking about the upcoming election, and he said something to this effect, that he thought the Democrats should all get together now and tell Trump that they will pardon him so that he will not have that worry on his shoulders.
Right.
So then he won't mess around with the 26 elections. And if that, to me, is not one of the most, is there a term called asinine?
Yes. And it's encouraged in this instance.
Well, I've got other things I can say about it, but
sure.
My God, if the Democrats were to do that, or if, let's say, they take the House, the Senate, good margins, and then they decide, well, we're the decent ones, we're going to be magnanimous.
Oh, yeah. I know.
And all of you people, we're just going to let you off we would be in worse shape, believe it or not, than we are now.
Well, and that's because of that, because of the lack of a sense of urgency between his first administration and his second, is why we're worse off than we were last time. And I agree with you. I got to run to my break, my friend. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Let's take a break here, and we'll check in with our good friend, manager of the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, which is coming up this Sunday. Merrill Miller joins us on the line, and I want to talk about these farmers markets, and a lot of farm owners are talking about how this is an avenue and how we can support farmers in a time of crisis, those who do raise the kind of produce that's available to us in our communities. More after this on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Washing your hands. It is one of the best and easiest ways to prevent yourself from getting sick. It's also a pretty good way to keep from passing your germs on to someone else and getting them sick. A new survey funded by the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases found this. Nearly half of Americans forget or choose not to wash their hands at all sorts of key times, after visiting a store, a restaurant, a coffee shop, a healthcare setting. I think the question they often ask is, how effective really is hand washing? Well, it can prevent 1 in 3 people from getting diarrhea and 1 in 5 people from developing a respiratory illness. Now, just in case you're one of the people who doesn't know the correct way to wash your hands, it's under clean, running water for 20 seconds. It's a long time. It's about the amount of time it takes to sing happy birthday twice. And pro tip, don't forget to wash your thumbs. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. We've got you covered with outdoor power equipment from Cobalt and everything you need to weatherproof your deck with Trex decking. Plus, with lawn care from Scott's and, of course, Pit Boss grills and accessories, you can get a home field advantage all season long. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings Wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
We're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
You know, a lot of folks call in and text us about how, they're just feeling overwhelmed by news story after news story. It feels like body blow after body blow. And one of the ways that I find you can really sort of pace yourself is to be involved in your communities, being at events where you can connect with others. And one of my favorites is the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. It's our farmers market here on the northwest side of Chicago. And joining us is Merrill Miller, the manager of the Jefferson Park Sunday Market. Merrill, how was your recent trip? Did you have a good time?
Yes, I did.
Excellent. It's good to have you back. We'll both be back, and I love our fall markets. Are you excited for Sunday? How's it looking?
Well, last I checked, the weather is not going to be quite that fall-like, but it should be a gorgeous day out there.
It's supposed to be warm. I know we're having Indian summer, I believe, is what we call this.
Sure, if that's what you call it, okay.
Native American summer? I know. I'm not supposed to call it that. Native American? I don't know.
Well,
that's what I call it growing up.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, I fear it's about global warming, but
there's that. Yes. I have a list of the 10 great reasons to support farmers markets, and the number one reason I love, and this is tasting real flavors. Before I came to the station, I had some leftover pasta, and I was like, how do I freshen this up? And I used that the garlic fermented paste from our friends who do like this, the kraut.
Fargo Brothers ferments, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, it was so good. The flavors are amazing. So tell us a little bit about vendors like Fargo Brothers.
Fargo Brothers has only been with us for a couple of years, but they are really excellent when it comes to, actually, this is only their first full year. They joined us midway through the season last year. But they've got this amazing variety of things that they have, pickled or cooked or whatever. And it's just like so many wonderful different options and flavors. And it works really well with, of course, all of our produce that we have and many of the other things that we have on site, too.
Well, that's the other thing is that we have, having access to, fruit and vegetables that are, within days of being picked. They haven't been transported across the country. Yeah. They've come from Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana, right?
Right. And to the point of, some of the product that is not so great at the end of the day because, it started out the day really ripe and maybe it didn't get bought. But that winds up going to our partners over at 5150 Friendship Place, yeah. I have to think about that. Where they actually are teaching people how to use stuff. So it's like it might not make the trip back to Michigan, but it can make the trip a couple blocks away and get used. So, it's a great partnership.
I agree. It's such great stuff. And we also have, again, as I mentioned, the local farmers that we have. We have two that bring us the fresh produce.
We have 6 generations, and they are a conglomerate of several different farms that are from, like, Wisconsin, Illinois. I think the farthest of the group is actually Kentucky. But, I mean, it's still, close enough that, it's not getting shipped that far. And so what they do is they can kind of consolidate everything from these farms at a nearby center where they can kind of divide things up, because each one of those places is going to have different kinds of product. And same thing, too, again, Power Farms is our other farm. Now, that's a single farm, but they have a great variety of fruits, veggies, and even flowers.
Wonderful. And by the way, I want to remind our friends listening in Seattle, your website to find your neighborhood farmers market is seattlefarmersmarkets.org. That's seattlefarmersmarkets.org. And what I love about, the produce that's available at our farmers market is you're getting what's in the season. I mean, like the freshest, most delicious tasting produce of the season. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah, and there's a noticeable flavor difference for anyone that hasn't actually tasted that. I actually did a cartoon a couple of years ago. One guy teasing his friend about how, wow, that looks kind of overripe or something. It's like, no, it's exactly ripe, but man, does it have flavor.
Yes.
So it makes a difference. It really does. So other things to look for on Sunday, of course, we've got Finn's Ranch. So if you want meat, eggs, that kind of thing, they've got some great stuff.
Yes.
One of our vendors that doesn't make it out very often is Eggman Chips. So they are a kind of specialty, just getting into the market group that they actually make these, they're sort of like potato chips, except they're made with almonds, egg whites, agave, which apparently improves digestion. Yes, I have a cheat sheet in front of me. Sunflower oil and chickpeas. So those folks that are looking for something that's a little healthier, but, trying to kind of up their protein intake for a variety of reasons, that can be a thing. That's a really awesome option.
I agree.
And, kind of a little different.
I was very sad to find I had no more Epic ice cream in my freezer. Please tell me he will be out with his incredible ice cream.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of so Epic Ice Cream, one of the vendors that committed for the whole season. So we're looking forward to seeing him yet again, or one of his staff, because he does occasionally have other people out there for him. But Tim's been a great add to the market.
And that's a great example of supporting local business owners. He just started this business during the pandemic. We have a long-standing business, of course, our friend Sam from Distinct Bath and Body, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, he's got a storefront just down Milwaukee a little ways, but, he likes to get out and get some fresh air and, expose people to his product line that maybe they don't know about his shop for whatever reason, because not everybody gets over to Six Corners, but nice little option there.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, our friend, I'm trying to really rein in my ring addiction. So from Collective, I've got some. I love the jewelry.
Actually, she's out of town this week, though.
Okay,
she'll be back at the next market, so October 10th she'll be back.
Good. Give my credit card a break.
But I'm kind of filling in a little bit. At least in her thought is going to be Boy Scout Pack 3963 selling popcorn as a fundraiser.
Oh, nice.
So in case you need popcorn.
Oh, that'd be fun.
There you go.
Excellent.
Yeah, and we're still going to be covering pet treats, so I'm not sure if they're going to be handling it or, we'll figure that out. There'll be pet treats somewhere on site, so just ask if you're looking for those.
Excellent. And we've got live music going as well.
Of course. On the porch will be Win Mac 3. Great little trio. They do sort of a weird, well, actually, it's a wonderful mishmash of like ragtime and jazz and just all kinds of fun music. And then over by the Northgate entrance is going to be Stephen Godius.
Nice. And folks, again, this is Jefferson Park Sunday Market. If you're in the Chicagoland area and you want to find out about your farmers market, you can go to chicago.gov and you'll find their events page as well with schedules for all the markets. Our market is this Sunday, September 28th, and that is going to be again, Jefferson Park proper, 4822 North Long. We are there second and fourth Sundays through October 26th, which is going to be a really fun one. I love our Halloween farmers market, and I'm excited for everyone to join us. And there's also, you can listen to live music as well as have some wonderful food from our friends from Urban Dining and Tamale Express, correct?
You got it.
Yeah. I love Urban Dining. Those garlic shrimp sliders are ridiculous, Merrill.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's becoming an addiction. Definitely has.
I know. I try. I'm like, oh, this is so. It's so now. Now I'm starting to salivate. It's all such great stuff. And remind folks, we also have a local maker's tent, right?
Right, the Jefferson Park Makers Tent. They're kind of like square in the middle of the market, right behind the field house. It's sort of our answer to how to have a presence for the local creators, because I mean these are all people that literally live either in Jefferson Park or Portage Park or really very close by that do local crafts. And so if you're looking for a gift or something like that, that would be the place to check out.
Outstanding. Well, Merrill, I will see you on Sunday. Look forward to catching up with you and everybody else at the market. Join us, everybody, this Sunday. Oh, and if you want to sign up for yoga, make sure you go to the website, right, and sign up for that ahead of time.
Of course, yeah. If you, the easiest way is go to jeffersonparksundaymarket.com. There's a link there. The Wildlight website also does have a link for it. You got to kind of drill through and figure out where they hide it at, though. But we've got it right there up on the main page.
Excellent. Well, I'll see you Sunday, Merrill. Have a good evening and take care. Thank you for joining us.
Too.
Thank you.
Thanks. Mm-hmm.
Let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll be joined by Dan Shafer of the Recombobulation Area. We'll catch up on all things Wisconsin on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150.
Still struggling with gas, bloat, constipation, nausea, or diarrhea? Have you tried eliminating foods but felt no change? It's time to call the tummy whisperer, Renee Barish at Digestive Health Solutions. Renee uses targeted testing to reveal exactly what's happening in your gut. Gut bacteria plays a key role in all your body functions, from cardiovascular regulation to brain function. When the gut is imbalanced, you may experience symptoms that extend beyond the gut, such as anxiety, skin issues, poor sleep, or increased risk for disease. Digestive Health Solution uses advanced testing to identify harmful microbes and evaluate the overall balance of the gut ecosystem. Get insights into your health, digestion, and how your microbiome affects all aspects of your body. Stop suffering. Call Renee now at 847-207-2034 or visit thetummywhisperer.com. That number is 847-207-2034. Let's get you feeling better. The Tummy Whisperer.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. President Trump hosted the president of Turkey at the White House today. At Donahue on how things went.
President Trump signaled to Recep Erdogan he might soon lift a hold on sales of advanced fighter jets to Turkey.
And I think he'll be successful with buying the things he'd like to buy.
The president wants things from Turkey.
I'd like to have him stop buying any oil from Russia while Russia continues his rampage.
The president also thinks Erdogan could have a big influence in ending the Ukraine war. He's disappointed with Vladimir Putin.
I'm not going to ever call anybody a paper tiger, but Russia spent millions and millions of dollars in bombs, missiles, ammunition, and lives, their lives. And they've gained virtually no land.
President Trump also sees Erdogan as a critical partner and credible intermediary in his effort to find an end to the war in Gaza. I'm Ed Donahue.
Later in the day, the president weighed in on the Israel-Palestinian conflict.
I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen.
Did you speak with Netanyahu about this directly?
Yeah, but I'm not going to allow it. Whether I spoke to him or not, I did. But I'm not allowing Israel to annex the West Bank.
At that event, Trump signed an executive order he says will allow TikTok to continue operating.
This is going to be American operated all the way. And great respect for President Xi, and I very much appreciate that he approved the deal.
A report on January's deadly LA wildfires finds the lack of resources and outdated emergency alert process led to delays in warning residents about the need to evacuate. The Eaton and Palisades fires killed more than 30 people and destroyed thousands of homes. In Texas, the parents of the only girl still missing from the catastrophic July 4th floods are demanding that Camp Mystic halt plans to reopen. And in Arizona, a jury's convicted a man in a string of shootings that killed 8 in Metro Phoenix in 2017. This is AP News. Golf's Ryder Cup pits the U.S. against Europe, and it gets underway tomorrow at Bethpage Black on Long Island, considered the toughest municipal course in America. Gethin Coolbaugh reports there'll be a notable spectator on hand.
On Friday, President Donald Trump will be front and center at the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black. Welcome to the first day of competition by the very powers that once shunned him. The Ryder Cup is run by the PGA of America, the organization that yanked its 2022 PGA championship from his Bedminster, New Jersey golf course. U.S. Captain Keegan Bradley said he's, quote, deeply honored, end quote, that Trump will be there. Trump will be the first sitting U.S. president to attend the biennial U.S.-Europe clash in its nearly 100-year history. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
The first foursome tees off at 7:10 Eastern tomorrow morning. There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Clear skies tonight with a low temperature of 58 degrees and light southwest winds. Friday, sunshine with a high of 81 and light southwest winds. Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature of 83. Sunday, sunshine with a high of 76 degrees. On Monday, we'll see sunshine with high temperatures in the mid-70s. Tuesday, sunshine with a high temperature around 75 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 73.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com. 1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. And we want to welcome our friends listening on KTNF AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and from our friends in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and our friends listening on KKNW 1150 in Seattle, Washington, the alternative talk of Seattle. And, of course, thank you to our sponsors, Minocqua Brewing Company. Go to MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. You can check out our latest podcast, the Up North Podcast, which had its reboot yesterday right here on WCPT, as well as on Substack. Subscribe to Minocqua Brewing Company Substack, where you'll also find the work that I, Ben Cominos, Senator Chris Taylor, and of course Kirk Bankstead, amongst other writers who join us every week. And we'd love to have you subscribe to that newsletter either on Substack or on Minocqua Brewing Company's website. We also want to thank our friends at Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com, and maybe you want to subscribe to their bean subscription, and you have a 10% limited discount right now, limited time. Just type in Drive Home 10 for 10% off your entire order, including their swag or their single bean single origin roasted beans. And we want to thank our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar, make an appointment with Peter Sorellis and see if it's time to get solar panels on your house or business, especially because there are incentives that are scheduled to expire this year for residents and for businesses next year. I have on the phone with us our very good friend, one of my favorite writers is Dan Shafer, the creator, editor, award-winning journalist from the Recombobulation Area. Whenever I have to recombobulate, I think of him fondly, and I do it often. I have to recombobulate. Dan Shafer, are you staying hydrated?
I'm doing my best to stay hydrated, Patty. Always good to hear from you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I was just looking and I'm like, I know who I have to talk about, but I was like, how's that other crazy guy doing? I think it's funny that Ron Johnson is now the less crazy of the federal legislators from Wisconsin, it seems. He wants to end government shutdowns with 2-week funding. He wants to eliminate Shutdowns Act. Okay, fine, whatever, Johnson, right?
Oh, just you wait. He's going to have something else any minute now. He's probably on some conspiracy podcast as we speak.
Oh, boy.
Talking about ivermectin or something like that,
Yeah, no kidding.
So, he's a big RFK guy, so I imagine he's doing something that's well off the deep end this week.
Have you heard from folks about? I mean, like, what's the temperature when it comes to this press conference that RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz and Dopehead saying that Tylenol? I mean, like the studies, folks. I'm getting all this blowback on my Facebook page. The Mount Sinai study says there may be a correlation. There is no definitive proof. The guy from Harvard was paid as a witness in lawsuits that they're citing. So it's just my skin hurts. It itches. I can't with these people. It's insane.
It's not great.
No.
It's not great. Don't listen to politicians about your health care. Listen to doctors.
Doctors, and here's the thing,
That's
folks.
all
Yes,
I have to say on that.
Yes, Tylenol. If you're not taking it as prescribed, as directed, it can cause harm. I can't. At any rate, so in the wake of the horrific assassination or the murder of Charlie Kirk, Van Orden has lost his ever-loving mind, hasn't he?
Sure has. I mean, it's kind of par for the course when it comes to Van Orden, but I think I don't know if there have been any members of Congress who have been posting about things, trying to get people fired for social media posts or amplifying all sorts of crazy rumors and really calling for people to lose their funding. He called for the Mayo Clinic to lose some of its federal funding over some posts that I guess surfaced. You never know what is actually true and what's not about these things. There was actually a case in Wisconsin not too long ago, or I guess last week it was, a high school principal from Elkhorn, Wisconsin, became the target of one of these, and she had not posted anything. So it was just completely fabricated. And so, these are the types of things that Van Orden is all over the place all the time on social media. I think the Wisconsin Democratic Party put out a press release saying, I believe it was like 1,000 tweets about. They said he tweeted over 1,000 times and threatened to strip federal funding from health clinics after the tragic death of Charlie Kirk. So, there are a lot of people engaging in these types of activities on social media and whatever, but I don't know if anybody has quite taken it to the extreme that Van Orden has.
Yeah. Well, on the plus side, he's really helping out farmers in Wisconsin, isn't he? The second quarter of 2024, Chinese soybean purchases across the United States was $3.6 billion. As of today, that number would be zero, and Wisconsin farmers could lose more than $100 million a year of soybean revenue. So that's got to be making people feel really good. And you would think that they would be like, oh, it's the Republicans' fault, but they're all kind of like, we'll see how it washes out, I guess. Have you heard anything in this regard?
Well, and then Trump said, did he say today? They were talking about some sort of bailout for farmers.
Well, isn't it
because,
socialism?
It's just like, let's take, let's use these tariffs that are going to make the farmers' lives and businesses more difficult. And then we're going to send them money to bail them out because of the problems that we ourselves created. It's a great plan.
Yes.
Pretty ridiculous. But I did think it was interesting this week that, Derek Van Orden's probably likely opponent in the general election, Rebecca Cook, who is running against him yet again. She gave him a run for his money last time around. She's running again here. She actually put out a press release yesterday calling on Congress to exempt soybeans from tariffs. So I think, these are the type of
solutions.
Locally focused solutions that I think we should be looking to instead of, trying to cause problems and then send a bunch of money at people to try to fix the problems we ourselves started. So, there are other ways, Patty. There are other ways.
Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. Yeah, I had not seen a story about Trump saying that they found $31 billion to help the farmers, and he had told his staffers to check the tariff shelf. No, I have not heard about this crazy rant. By the way.
It's hard to keep up with them all. We live in discombobulating times, Patty. You know that.
We do live in discombobulating times. To the governor's race, I see that more people, Democrats and Republicans, are jumping into this race, and this is sort of a circus as well for the Republicans, isn't it? Did I read right that there was somebody who was on like some trans porn sites that's running for governor as a Republican?
Yes, you did. So the story from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel this week, from Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's Dan Bice, the headline is GOP Gov candidate Bill Berrien scrubs links to sexually explicit social media accounts. And so I guess what they found is he had some sort of social media account on the website Medium that he was following a bunch of sexually explicit content, including a transgender porn star, and was reacting to some of the things on this social media page. Now, what Berrien or anyone else does in their own private time is really none of our business.
Yep.
But Berrien has made his anti-LGBT stance kind of a centerpiece of his campaign. It was, he called transgender individuals, said they were engaging in, quote, radical social experimentation. He talked about, the whole sports issue in his launch ad that he had on TV. And so he's trying to limit the rights of people. And then, I guess in his own time I don't even know how to characterize it at this point. But, if nothing else, I don't think this is really going to help him in a Republican primary. Do you?
No. But I mean, first of all, you're right. What people do in their own privacy, their own time, except for when they're hypocrites and want to put targets on other people's backs. But yeah, I mean, that seems like that's fair game for the Republican. I mean, I don't know how you don't, that's their comfort zone is just slinging around slurs about people who they don't understand or like. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I understand that Representative or General Assemblywoman Erica Hong has joined in the governor's race. Is it Erica?
I'm sorry?
Didn't one of the legislators also throw her hat into the gubernatorial race on the Democrat side?
Oh, yes, that's right. Francesca Hong on the Democratic side. So there have been a number of announcements on the Democratic side.
Oh, really?
This is the first open primary Wisconsin has had for governor since 2010. So I think this is going to invite a great many candidates jumping into the race here. So we've had a few announcements on the Republican side, going back months before Tony Evers made his decision. That included Washington County Executive Josh Schoeman and Bill Berrien, who we just talked about, neither of whom have really had candidacies that have picked up steam. We could talk about another candidate there as well who did announce this week, Tom Tiffany. But then we also have on the Democratic side, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley announced a couple of weeks ago. State Senator Kelda Roys from Madison. She also ran in 2018. She announced last week as well. And then State Representative Francesca Hong, who is part of the Democratic Socialist Caucus in Wisconsin, and she announced her bid as well. And she had a video that really kind of took off on social media, an interesting candidate. And, given that she's a state representative, she's probably not one of the, going from that to governor is a big jump. But, I wrote this kind of too early preview of the governor's race and mentioned her in there. as the wild card in the race. And I think she's kind of embraced that. She even mentioned it in a couple of the interviews that she did in mainstream media last week and talk about being a wild card in the race. And she's already been, kind of all over the state touring various communities. And she was held a press conference in front of Lambeau Field talking about tailgate inflation today and rising costs of groceries in the Green Bay area. So, if nothing else, I think she's going to make everybody else in the primary work that much harder for their votes because she's out there, she's getting after it.
And since she is vacating her seat to run for governor, you've got a candidate, a trans candidate, Nina Martinez Rutherford, who's a friend of mine, running for assembly in the 76th district. She's currently an alderwoman in Madison, Wisconsin, so that's exciting as well.
Yeah, she does some comedy as well. Is that where you know her from?
Yes, I do. Known her for over a decade.
There you go.
Yeah.
Always a Wisconsin connection. Always a Wisconsin connection.
know I've got that going on for me. What are you working on next that you want folks to know about, Dan?
Well, I actually just wrote a piece about the latest announcement for governor, Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany, who is, I believe, in his third full term as congressman in the 7th Congressional District. That's in kind of the northern and western part of Wisconsin. And I think there's a pretty good chance that he is going to end up being the nominee. He is a staunch Trump ally and supporter. He's pretty far to the right on a lot of issues. He was one of those folks who, voted to essentially overturn the election in 2020. He co-sponsored legislation for, I believe it was the 6-week abortion ban. So a lot to process about like what his candidacy is going to be. But I wrote about his launch of his campaign and just kind of broke down, where, his candidacy is, what that means for Republican politics in Wisconsin, because for so long, the stronghold for it was the WOW counties, which is Waukesha, Zaki, and Washington counties, the three kind of very red counties that have surrounded Milwaukee. Those counties have begun drifting towards Democrats, becoming much more purple in recent years. And I think the fact that Tiffany is the likely Republican nominee really shows a change in the politics for the Republican Party in Wisconsin, shifting from more of a suburban party to more of a rural or ex-urban party where the kind of center of power is instead of the suburbs, it's in the Northwoods. So I think Tiffany would really, kind of exemplify that shift. And I get into that and more in the piece at the Recombobulation Area. So you can check that out now.
Everyone, subscribe to the Recombobulation Area. Don't just be a subscriber, be a paid subscriber to support the work that journalists like our friend Dan Shafer and the folks that he works with do, making sure that these stories don't go hidden, really. I mean, do you look around and just go, and these are just the things that we're catching, right? These are the things that we can put our attention to. The stuff that's going on nationally is just bonkers. So I'm glad that you're there to catch the stories in Wisconsin. Award-winning Dan Shafer from the Recombobulation Area. We thank you for your time. It'll be interesting to see how the playoffs go with the Brewers. So just saying.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Are the Cubs going to make it? Are they going to sneak in?
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm just glad the Bears won a game. That's all I know. They won.
Hang the banner. They won a game.
Okay, that's it. Enough of Dan Shafer. All right. I'll talk to you again soon, my friend. Take care.
All right, thanks so much for having me. Be well.
Thank you, you too. Let's take a break here. We'll continue the conversation when we come back. If you want to give us a call, 773-763-9278. That's the number to call or text us on the Credo mobile phone and text line. More after this on WCPT, KKNW, and KTNF. I forgot to push this button over here. All right.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. While Donald Trump is making a mess out of this country, let's take a look at some vacuum cleaners that support the Democratic Party. iRobot. Now, iRobot is a company that makes Roombas. Everyone knows what a Roomba is, right? Little electronic vacuums that do it themselves. Pretty dang cool. Well, 96% of iRobot's donations went to Democrats in 2024. Samsung. Now, yes, Samsung did donate $374,000 to the Democratic Party in 2024. But that was only 61% of their donations. And there's a handful of vacuum cleaner companies that aren't in the U.S. and therefore don't donate to politics at all. Those companies are Dyson, they're out of the UK, Shark Ninja, also out of the UK, Hoover, Dirt Devil, and Robo-Rock, all three of those are out China. The Republicans always make the mess, and it's always the Democrats who have to clean it up, right? Maybe Donald Trump should step aside and let Roomba and Samsung take over. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
Hey, Tom Harbin here. Mark your calendar for Wednesday, October 15th at my favorite deli restaurant, Max and Benny's in Northbrook. I'll be there talking about and signing copies of my newest book, The Last American President. This is a free event for all my WCPT listeners. Just register on WCPT.com. Attendance will be limited to the first 100 people, so please go to WCPT.com to register today. Max and Benny's, 7 p.m. Wednesday, October 15, 461 Waukegan Road in Northbrook. Tag, you're it.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
We are Driving It Home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez, and I want to say hello to our friends listening on KTNF in Minnesota, out of Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota. And I want to remind you guys to also check out your farmers markets. We were chatting with our manager of the market that I volunteer at, Jefferson Park Sunday Market, every second and fourth Sunday of the month through the end of October. And we will be there this Sunday. And for our friends listening in Minneapolis, make sure you check out your farmers markets, because this is how we support local businesses, our small farmers. One of the things that is happening right now with this squeeze of the lack of purchase from by China of soybeans and other products from our farmers, there's going to be the need at some point to figure out what the path forward is. If we're going to have these damaged relationships globally because of the tariff war, we have to figure out how to support our agricultural businesses. And so right now, small farmers are already being squeezed to either get bigger or perish. And we can support small businesses, small farmers, by buying their products at these farmers markets all over the country. You also support local businesses. For example, at our market, we have Distinct Bath and Body. They make soaps locally, bath salts, lotions, all kinds of stuff. There's wonderful artists you can support. At our market, we have a wonderful jewelry designer. I'm obsessed. I've developed an addiction to her work, and I just love all the jewelry that she makes, earrings and necklaces and all those things. Epic Ice Cream, one of our local ice cream makers here on the northwest side of Chicago. So find your local favorites. Let's bring it back to our communities. This is how we support each other. So I want to remind everybody to find your local farmers market. And I'm just talking, I mentioned Minneapolis and Seattle, but I know we have friends listening all over the country and all over the world. So thank you for joining us. I also want to remind you about some of the show's guests coming up. Tomorrow on Choose Views, Richard will be joined by Karen Byrne, the co-host of True Blue Politics. She joins him every Friday. I'm looking forward to hearing what she's got to say, because she has been at the Broadview Detention Center, joining in with the protesters and keeping us all up to date on understand what's going on there. You might have seen the images of ICE agents throwing people to the ground. One woman was put in a chokehold. He first aimed a weapon at her face. They are shooting pepper pellets into the crowds and tear gas. And it's unhinged. The fact that we're living through this is still, I think, shocking to folks, and that's kind of the point. He'll also be joined by Bushara Amawala, a Democratic candidate for Congress in the 9th District right here in Illinois. Shannon Fernando, who will be discussing Alabaster International's work to teach African women how to grow, invest, grow, harvest, and sell, and set a climate-changing resilient crop. That's Choose Use Monday through Friday, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m., right here on WCPT. That's Central Time, by the way. And you can also listen on the Heartland Signal website and on TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook. You can watch us. Hi, everybody that's watching. Tomorrow on Joan Esposito, she will be back. She's confirmed she'll be back, and her guests include American Library Association President Sam Helmick. That's tomorrow on Live, Local, and Progressive, weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central, right here on WCPT 820. So I just want to also remind folks that our Credo mobile phone and text line is 773-763-9278, and WCPT listeners now get 25% off for 2 years at Credo Mobile with the code WCPT25. Credo Mobile, a progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. And don't forget to sign up for your tickets to go see Tom Hartman and Richard Chew. You'll have an opportunity to meet Tom Hartman, the legendary broadcaster and best-selling author. He'll be joining Richard on Wednesday, October 15th from 3 to 5 p.m., and they're co-hosting a labor panel at the Ironworkers Local 63 Training Center in Broadview. And then at 7, Tom's going to be at Max and Benny's restaurant in Northbrook to talk about and sign copies of his new book, The Last American President, A Broken Man, A Corrupt Party, and A World on the Brink. And both events are free and open to the public, but you do need to register in order to attend. Go to heartlandsignal.com/WCPT820 and click on either one of the two Hartman banners to find where to go. Also, before we go to the break and join our friend Rick Smith, who you can hear right on WCPT Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central. I listen to him when I go home and start cooking dinner. So I'm excited to talk to him. It's weird. It's weird that I listen to my colleagues and then I get to talk to them as a guest. So I'm very excited to talk to Rick and catch up with the work that he's doing and the conversations that he's having around labor and what our path forward is in these very strange and just not just trying. This is crazy times. Tomorrow we're going to be joined by the guests of The Gailey Show. The hosts of The Gailey Show. They are on KTNF AM 950. They're going to be joining us here on WCPT. So excited to have a conversation with them. Let's take a break here and catch up with Rick Smith when we come back on WCPT 820, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950. We're so glad you're here.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Clear skies tonight with a low temperature of 58 degrees and light southwest winds. Friday, sunshine with a high of 81 and light southwest winds. Saturday, sunshine with a high temperature of 83. Sunday, sunshine with a high of 76 degrees. On Monday, we'll see sunshine with high temperatures in the mid-70s. Tuesday, sunshine with a high temperature around 75 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 72.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Listen up, fellow timeshare owners. If you're a timeshare owner and you want out at all costs, you're done, frustrated, tired of wasting money, you don't use the darn thing. Get out now. Hire the best Bulldog timeshare cancellation team in the business. Their in-house legal team, headed by a timeshare cancellation lawyer, can help you fight the biggest and baddest companies out there that sell timeshare. At some point, you were using your timeshare, but now you're not, and you're tired of wasting money. Before you go to the poorhouse, call right now and learn how you can stop the maintenance fees and put more money back in your pocket. Their services cost you a lot less than you think, and you'll save a lot of money over time. Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline now. It's a free consultation.
800-296-0150. 800-296-0150. 800-296-0150. That's 800-296-0150.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down.
I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Innovative research, educational resources, supportive community. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge in finding treatments and cures for blinding diseases. Learn more at fightingblindness.org. A public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Hi, this is Patti Vasquez. We appreciate all our fans of Driving It Home, and your support of show sponsor Minocqua Brewing Company ensures that our important conversations continue right here on WCPT each weekday from 5 to 7 p.m. You can now find the Resistance IPA, Labor Lager, or the Resistance Pilsner beer at several Illinois locations, including Armanetti Wine and Spirits in Woodstock, Pineapple and Company in North Riverside, Lyons Beverage Depot in Arlington Heights, and MP's Liquor, Wine, and Beer in North Aurora. For a full list of Chicagoland locations, please visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com. As always, please vote and drink responsibly. And I have an update to that, actually, to that recorded message from me. The progressive brews are also now available, including the Gulf of Mexico. Is that a lager? It's the Mexican-style lager. And the Resistance beer. They're both available now just a block from where I grew up in one of the most conservative neighborhoods in Chicago, right here on the northwest side of Chicago at Norwood Wine and Spirits. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see how people react. I don't know, Rick Smith. Those are the kinds of things that just make me giddy. How are you doing, Rick? Host of the Rick Smith Show?
I am fabulous. Things are great. America is great again. And I got to tell you, Patty, finally someone went to the UN and stopped mealy-mouthed, stopped whispering, showed a little gravitas.
Oh, my
Brought
God.
that Doge kids with the big things and let them swing. Man, our unitary executive CEO, big boss, genius president, just let it all hang out there with American swagger. You know, we need this. The globe needs this. Took American ugliness and made it a masterpiece.
Oh, God, so gross.
That's the reality, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
We're waving our chicken-stained fingers in the world's face.
Yeah,
They're wrong. We're right. They suck. We're great. That's how you make friends, Patty.
That's right. And, you know, so I was in Scotland and in France last week, and it is, people would ask me straight up if I was a liberal. Like, that's exactly what they would ask. Are you a liberal? And they were so, like, people almost hugged me to find out that I was somebody who didn't vote for Donald Trump. But the problem is, because Americans voted for him, that's the impression people have of all of us now around the world. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. No, look, our dictator's bigger than their dictator.
Yeah.
And if we ever find out who sabotaged the escalator and the teleprompter, it's trouble.
Well,
and am I the only one who remembered that he couldn't stop mocking Obama for using a teleprompter? Am I the only one who remembered the red hats used to run around going, oh, he can't say anything without a teleprompter? Did I miss that?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. None of that sticks. They are entirely rubber. We're glue. You know, he also had things to say about, a leader can't lead if he's got to have government shutdowns. And now he refuses to talk to Democrats and wants to burn the whole thing down by not having discussions about the budget and bills.
So are you surprised by any of this? I've been asking people, are you surprised by any of this? Because all during the 2024 election, I kept saying, this is coming.
Yeah.
And I've had people go, I'm surprised it's this bad. I'm going, how? How can you possibly say that you had no idea it was going to be this bad when you lived through the first one?
Yeah. Well, let's take the Tylenol press conference, for example, right? And my son has severe disabilities, including autism, which is secondary to an anatomical reason for that. He genetically has a very rare disorder called Primrose. And, so I'm in this community, and we only found that out in the last 6 months. He's 20 years old. So, families are always looking for answers. What could it have been? What caused this? And especially for moms, we'll never get past the point of, it's some part of our brain will always gnaw at us, like, what could I have done differently? But having this press conference and then blaming it on moms, like, who had a fever, which, by the way, a fever is dangerous to a fetus, and there is no scientific data that shows a link between Tylenol and autism. There is a may correlate in these studies, and that's it. It's dangerous.
Yeah. But they needed an answer. So the answer is something really overly simplistic. So the red dye that bled into the heads of the people wearing it can understand it. Because that's all this is. Understand, these aren't people who care about you, your children. They don't care about anything other than themselves and what they can steal. Everything else is just a reality TV show. And evidently, this is what America wants. Bad reality TV. Bad reality union-busting TV. Because that's what reality TV came out of. It was a union-busting move because the writers were going on strike. So now we're stuck with a...
Oh.
This is where if I had the button, I could button some stuff.
I was wondering why you stopped. Yeah, I hear you.
I'm looking for the button.
Yep.
But, this is how we ended up with this guy who's a complete buffoon and moron, but understands how to dominate a media cycle, how to cause chaos and make money on the backs of the poorest people in this country and have those poor people buy his stuff to make him even richer. It is amazing to me that we are here, but I guess it shouldn't be because, well, we are the most misinformed, highest self-esteem society in the history of humanity. So, hey, as Reagan used to say, we know so much that isn't. Tylenol causing autism.
Yep.
There it is. Simple.
Well, and both Reagan and Bush did quite a bit when it comes to our education system. With Reagan, realizing that if the proletariat was educated, that Republicans might not win. And, making sure that access to universities, making it exorbitantly expensive for working class families. And then, the Bush administration with No Child Left Behind, it seems we might have left a couple, 2-3 children behind, is the way it looks. Don't you think?
Well, not important kids. Understand, those aren't the important kids.
Yep.
Because those are poor and working class kids. Not important. We need hand laborers. We need people who are going to go out and pick cotton and do whatever things that they do. Oh, we don't pick cotton. We got machines for that. Go into the slaughterhouses and work in those horrible conditions. And go into those places where we're taking the brown people and making a public display of mashing their face into the ground as we scrape them off into vans with people wearing masks. Remember when we were against masks? Remember when there were certain people against masks? Now they're running around with masks. Nobody's complaining.
No.
But we need poor kids to go in and finish those jobs. I mean, Newt Gingrich and all of them were saying it years ago. We want get rid of those union janitors and get those kids back in there cleaning toilets.
Yeah.
They've been telling us, so we cannot act like we didn't know.
Oh, no.
You knew. In fact, they wrote it down in a 900-page document. And through the whole election cycle, I kept going, okay, turn to page 642. Here's this. You cannot now say, I didn't know this was going to come. You knew this was coming, and the people who voted for this moron, I hope you're getting everything you want.
Well, and I wrote a piece a couple weeks ago called "When You Own the Libs but Lose the Farm," and you've talked about how tariffs can be used strategically. Now we're seeing across the country, because China is buying their soybeans from Argentina and Brazil, which last year was over at this point in the calendar year, in the quarter, it would have been about $3.1 billion in orders, and there is zero. To your point, it's the FAFO. I don't know what the leopard's breath smells like, but it seems like it's getting awfully close. What are you hearing in regards to farmers across the country?
Well, the people here in my neck of the woods, because I'm in the T in central Pennsylvania. If you've ever heard anything about Pennsylvania, you got Pittsburgh on one end, Philadelphia on the other, and then Alabama in the middle. I am in the Alabama section of Pennsylvania, and this is one of the reddest areas in the country. And yes, there are farmers here, and you're right. They're not happy that their cheap labor has gone away, even though they still have signs out in front of their farms.
Yes.
With Trump adoring him. It's starting to sink in, though, because there aren't the cheap laborers to go do their work. There are people up in Potter County, and Politico just did a piece on it of the guys going, well, I didn't think it was going to come for us.
Yep,
exactly you. And I've been saying since Election Day that the solutions to our problems will come from the suffering caused by their savagery. So all of the things they're going to do is going to trickle down pain and suffering for all of us. And the only way we're going to come back together and find each other, the old labor frame, when your stomach's empty, your head gets right. I think only through pain, suffering, and chaos will this country reunite around some shared values and shared ideals. Because we still want reality TV. We still want American Idol and Cheetos or Bread and Circus or however you want to put that. And the great thing about reality TV is everybody remembers who the a-hole was. And we've got one running for who's our president.
Well,
I hope.
Yeah. Well,
I hope we come around to the idea that maybe he's the problem.
Well, to your point, then, when there's enough suffering, when essentially people have had their hand on the stove long enough to realize that it's hot and maybe don't do that again, what do you see as the path forward? And I think that labor is at the center of all of this. How do Democrats harness the message of affordable housing, of access to health care, of not just a living wage, but a thriving wage? What do you see as the way to accomplish this next?
I said on Election Day that Democrats need to get out of Washington, D.C. and stop with trying to actually do anything. I think they need to get into red districts and adopt a Republican congressman and go out there and go, this is what you voted for, this is what they're doing. We have no power to make anything happen. This government shutdown that's going to happen, they're blaming the Democrats. It's the Democrats do it. Did I miss something? Republicans control the House, right? Republicans control the Senate, right? They control the White House. Yeah, they control the Supreme Court. They control all of the levers of power. How is it the Democrats' fault? It's the Democrats' fault because they don't have a big enough media megaphone to push the message. And I think that's part of the big problem, which is why they went after Kimmel, why they're taking down Colbert, why they're going after everyone else. You, me, probably on the list, because they can't have anyone pointing out that the emperor doesn't care about you.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's just the resistance to understanding that or accepting it. Man, they are clinging to it. What kind of emails and calls do you get? Because they were very angry at the beginning of this year, and obviously the political rhetoric of the political violence talk, has been very charged over the last 2 weeks. But are you still getting the real nastiness from MAGA?
There've been some tapping down because the reality is, you can't go. How's that gas price going for you?
Yeah.
How about them eggs? How's that car insurance doing? How's your rent? There's no retort to that now. Before it was you'll see, and now we've seen, and it's only going to get worse. And I go back to what I said. The solutions are going to come out of the suffering. Because it's going to get worse. Because as you pointed out, yes, I believe that strategically used tariffs are a good thing, a tool that should be in the toolbox, but not the only tool. And when you have a bully with one tool, you're going to get a lot of broken stuff, and it's going to be poor people who are the ones who are going to suffer. And we're going to see more of this. Because Trump, as you know, Trump never loses. He bankrupts casinos, still doesn't lose. This is a guy who, like a cat, he ends up on his feet. It's everybody else around him who ends up suffering and struggling. And that's going to be us working people. And you're right. The labor movement has got to be at the center of it. Yeah. My fear, however, is that Republicans have kind of figured out that labor is kind of divided. That working people, labor hasn't really talked to working people for a while. My union president, Sean O'Brien, says, my members don't need to be educated. They already know everything. And he's running around with Orrin Cass of American Compass, which is a very conservative think tank, who's now going, maybe we need to get away from that free trade and start talking about family values and labor rights, because there is a concerted push among Republicans to try and court organized labor. Because remember, Hitler had a labor guy. His name was Richard Ley. Everybody was in the union. Independent unions are good, in my view. Fascistic unions, we got problems. Yeah. Communist China has the largest number of union members in the world. You think that's a good thing? No. I'm a union guy, absolutely. But it's got to be for the members, for the workers, not for dear leader, not for our unitary executive.
how are we doing with union membership? Are people, turning to unions as things get more expensive? Is there a movement at all? Because I'm not here. I mean, there's so much noise coming. Everything's broken.
Everything's broken. There's no NLRB. Who's gonna have the
That's
election?
right. Yeah.
There's no quorum. Nothing gets done. Now there's some push to try, but now what you've got is employers who feel emboldened because their guys in the White House. Yeah. And contracts that you would think in the past would have been something we should have gotten through. Now, not so much because, again, the pendulum has swung so far back into the side of the employer class that I think workers are going to struggle even more. Now, again, I go back to what I said. There's only so much of you-know-what people are willing to eat, and we're gonna be full of you-know-what very soon.
Yeah. I do. Can you hang out for another segment, or are you in a pinch?
Sure.
I'm up against a break. I'm late for a break, and I should probably go back and do that. Let's take a break here. We're talking to Rick Smith. You can hear him right here on WCPT in the evenings at 7 o'clock Central. Go to the Rick Smith Show and learn more about all the great work that he does and where else you can find him. I want to find out about how your wife is doing as well when we come back. I know that it's been a challenging year, and Carol, I know, has been on the mend, so I want to talk a little bit about her when we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KTNF AM 950, and KKNW 1150.
Choose Views with Richard Chew.
It's taking action that matters. Whether it was 600, 6,000, or 600,000 people out, there's the impact of the voice being heard, but it's also we feeling like I'm not just sitting watching this train go by, this horror show go by, and not doing something. And then when you find that there are more like-minded people than you realize, you understand that there are more of us than there are of them.
Richard Chew, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820.
Turn up the heat on every drive with a Porsche from the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Our tariff-free vehicles are available for immediate delivery, like the 2025 Porsche Cayenne. And right now, lease the 2025 Macan Electric for only $949 a month for 39 months. Don't miss out on the $7,500 EV tax credit ending September 30th. And grab your electric Porsche today at the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park or PorscheExchange.com. $4,929 excludes tax, title, license, and document. No security deposit required. Expires 9/30/2025.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
A tree can be a warrior, battling global challenges with greater courage. A tree can be a solution, cleaning our air, supporting our communities, and protecting our wildlife. A tree can be noble, growing hope in every corner of the world. That's why now is the time for trees. Millions of trees. Join our planting movement at arborday.org.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And we are talking to Rick Smith. The RickSmithShow.com is where you can find all the places that his show is available as a podcast or broadcast. And also, he's got a Patreon that you want to support. Rick, before we talk about anything else, I do want to talk about your wife, Carol. I know that a lot of listeners would love to hear an update because she had this horrible accident last year on her motorcycle. How is she doing?
We're taking positive steps.
Yeah.
Physically, she's getting stronger. She's moving around really well.
Oh, great.
They told us when we left the rehab hospital she would never walk. She's all over the place. Our challenge, I think, the big challenge is obviously cognitive. She has a traumatic brain injury. But we're every day we're doing a little bit better. We're making strides. I'm guardedly optimistic that she will have something of a normal life going forward.
It is hard. Look, I've mentioned before my son has severe challenges, physical and intellectual, and it's hard to explain to people how much your brain wants everything to be okay again, right? And it takes time to deal with the new circumstances. It took us like 3 years. My son stopped being able to walk about 3 years ago. And I remember when they were showing me like the transfer chair for the shower. I mean, like it's so like it's just those little things that you think, well, we won't need this for very long. It's just it's sort of by steps, just like you said. Yep. It's kind of coming to terms with the new reality and then facing them. And I know that you've written about how, your union membership and and being able to have access to healthcare makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I can't imagine what life would be without the health insurance that I'm fortunate enough to have through my employer. And because I'm a union member and because we negotiate that as part of our contract, which I want for everyone, this would be immensely more difficult if I had to fight with insurance companies every day, like everyone that I watch. Because, the last year, it's been a year and almost 2 weeks. It was September 12th of last year that she was hit while riding her motorcycle. And we've been, in a hospital every day since then. And you watch people have to deal with, well, your insurance company's not going to cover this, or, oh, your coverage is canceled, or, oh, whatever the reason is. That's not something that they cover. It's always denial, and people fighting to get what they need. And I got to tell you, in the wealthiest country in the history of humanity, that's really unacceptable. So when we see all around us nothing but chaos and nothing but distraction, I keep going, when do we say enough? When do all of these people that are good, decent people who are just trying to care for their loved ones and themselves, when do they finally say, this is a bunch of you-know-what, we should have better? Because when I have conversations with individuals, they're like, yeah, this is horrible. There's got to be a better way. And I think there has to be. And the reason I keep talking about our situation, because generally I don't, is not because I want to rub it in, hey, I have this and you don't.
Sure.
Because everybody should have the kind of security that I've been fortunate enough to have, and to be able to go through a horrible tragedy without having to worry about, am I going to be homeless? Are we going to have to make a decision that I have to put her in a nursing home or something horrible like that? We're a society that's working class anyway, that's walking on eggshells. Our existence is one mistake, one accident, one misfortune away from devastation. But we suffer in silence. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that I've noticed about all these people. Their pride, their self-esteem, their self-worth is all tied up in being able to muster through. Mine as well.
Yeah.
And we should be talking about this more. We should be, siding with caregivers over insurance companies at every step. But we just don't, and I can't figure out why.
And it's going to get worse with this avalanche of cuts that are coming for people who are. Yep. And people think, we're taking care of fraud and all the scam artists, but we're also cutting people off from services that not only support them in their communities, but that's how providers are often paid. You're going to have providers that have to shut down all over the country. It's going to affect everybody.
Yeah, and the insurance that I have, I'm going to pay more for.
Yeah, exactly.
And the insurance that you have, you're going to pay more for. We already pay, almost double what all the industrialized countries in the world pay. Mm-hmm. I guess we're number one.
Yeah.
We don't get number one outcomes, though.
No.
We may have the best facilities, but not for everybody. And if you're fortunate, okay, you're going to get something. But I got to tell you, even as fortunate as I am to have health insurance that friends in Congress are jealous of, it's not everything you want whenever you want. There's still long waits for certain things and delays and all kinds of things that, for what we pay for healthcare, should not be.
Yeah. Have you seen what's going on in Iowa and how their cancer rates are absolutely through the roof? They're one of the worst.
Is it going to be aspirin?
Oh my God! Right? It's gonna. I don't know what they're gonna do there again with the cuts that are coming. This is gonna be catastrophic for so many families all over the country. What do you got coming up this week? What do you want to let folks know about this week and next week? The highlights that you want to share with folks.
Look, I want people to wake up to the reality that this guy's taking us down a really very dangerous path. And all of the distraction that we're going to see, the perp walks that are coming, because Comey was indicted, they're going to go after Bolton, they're going to go after Antifa. I guess, we're going to bring up Acorn again at some point. They need anything and everything they can get to distract us from, one, the economy's not doing great for working people, two, the Epstein files, which I'm sure his name is all over, and three, democracy's kind of going away. I guess our dictator is going to be bigger physically than everyone else.
Yep. That's Rick Smith. You can go to thericksmithshow.com. Of course, coming up in just a few minutes, it'll be his show. So I should probably get out of the way for the Rick Smith Show. Thank you for joining us. My best to your wife and to everyone in your world. And we'll look forward to talking to you again, my friend.
Absolutely. Great talking with you. Thanks, Patty.
Take care. Thanks. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for Driving It Home. Thank you to our sponsors, Minocqua Brewing Company. We had our very first Up North podcast that was simulcast here on WCPT, and we'll be doing that every Wednesday, 6 to 7 Central, and then it's available on Minocqua Brewing Company's Substack. I'm going to start a new Substack for just the show so that I kind of have those two things separately, because I believe we might be able to start broadcasting this show there, not maybe every day, but we'll figure it out. There's so many elements to it, because we want to make sure that as many people as possible are aware of these conversations. I've mentioned before, there are over 1,500 conservative radio stations in the country. We are less than 100, and we are the largest in the country, and we need your support. Please tell your friends about our shows. Of course, starting in the mornings with Richard Choose Views. You can tune in from 6 to 8 a.m. Central, and he's always got great conversations. And then followed by Stephanie Miller and her great cast of regulars, and her, whether it's Jody Hamilton or Chris. Chris is Chris wrong or is he right? It's up to you. You can buy one of the other shirts. Then Tom Hartman, of course, and he and Richard Chu will be at the. They're going to be at the Ironworkers. They're at the Ironworkers Local 63 Training Center on October 15th. So make sure you go to our website, WCPT 820, and click on either of the Tom Hartman banners there to find out about attending his event that day. And of course, then Joan Esposito, she'll be back tomorrow, live, local, and progressive. I'll be on tomorrow at 5, and we all start all over again. So please take care of yourselves. Have these conversations. Hydrate. Thank you, Matt, so much for taking care of the show. Good night, everybody. Take care.
Hey, Progressives, this is Richard Chu, host of Choose Views here on WCPT AM 820, 6 to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. We have some real challenges in front of us as a country. Since the beginning of this show, I have always felt compelled to bring you the best that I've got. Now, there's always a why to doing whatever we do. So, as we go forward and face these challenges, know this.